Ida B. Chapter 10. One day in August, the house and my heart got to feeling so gloomy and gray, I decided to give talking to that old tree another try. I left Rufus home with Mama, hiked to the top of the mountain, climbed up the trunk, and sat in my usual spot. I don't mean to complain, I don't want to whine, but Mama's not Mama and Daddy's not Daddy, and I miss them. I miss the life we used to have, and I'm so lonely, I told the tree. I closed my eyes and rested my head on the warm, smooth branch next to me. I felt tireder than tired, so I was happy to just sit there for quite a while. The sun was shining on my back and the wind brushed my totally messed that up. The sun was shining on my back and the wind brushed my cheek like fingers. Then the hair on my arms and the back of my neck stood straight up and tingled, so I knew something was coming. And I heard that voice that isn't an out loud voice, but you can still listen to it, just not with your ears. You have to hear it inside. Slow like sleep, quiet like night, it whispered, "It will be all right." And that was all. There was a warm ball in my belly, and the warmth spread through me, so I was heated from the inside out. Every bit of me got peaceful and warm and sure, and I forgot everything except for that feeling of being so sure. Pretty soon, though, the part of me that's suspicious of things that feel too good too fast remembered all the trouble and sadness that had been going on in our house, and the warm, cozy feeling disappeared real quick. I opened my eyes, sat up straight, and said out loud, "Are you sure about that? Could you tell me what you mean by all right?" But that's the thing about that old tree. You're lucky if you get anything, and if you get something, that's all you get. So I sat there and collected myself for a bit, and after a while I remembered what I'd heard and how it felt, and I just knew. I climbed down and got back to the ground. I leaned up against the tree, put my face right into its old white trunk and said, "Thank you." Then I walked down the mountain toward home, not feeling any less lonely, but a bit more hopeful. At dinner a couple of nights later, Daddy said with Mama sitting right there, "Ida B, Mama's going to get some new medicine for her treatments, so she won't be feeling so bad afterward. Your Mama's going to be doing better." "Evan," Mama said right away, looking hard at Daddy. "Not all that's for sure," she told him, and her face got softer while she was talking. When she finished, she put her hand on his. Then she turned to me. "We're hoping, baby, that it'll be better. I'm going to start having treatments every week for a while, but the medicine won't be strong, so I shouldn't get sick and I shouldn't be so tired. But we'll just have to see." Well, except for hoping and have to see parts, I thought that sounded like big-time celebrating news, like having pie and ice cream news. I could feel myself smiling so big that the ends of my mouth were almost up to my eyeballs. But Mama and Daddy had just little smiles, where your mouth curves up in the middle, but only halfway. I couldn't understand why we all weren't skipping the main course and heading right for dessert. "That's good news, isn't it?" "It's good news, Ida B," Mama said. "So what's the problem? Why aren't we celebrating?" I asked. But I got the same old answer. "Oh, Ida B." That didn't tell me anything except I better quit right there, because I wasn't going to get anything else. And I was grateful for a happiness in a house that had been so full of sadness. So I let it be. The brook, as you know, is much more talkative than the old tree. I would even say it's chatty. The next morning I ran over to the brook, and before it could start babbling, I told it, "Hey, Mama's going to get better, and pretty soon everything's going to be just the way it was." But the brook didn't say anything back. So I told it again, even louder. I said, "Mama is getting better, and good times are just around the corner." Still nothing. I took my shoes off and splashed into the middle of the water and kicked around there for a minute to get its attention. "Hey, did you hear me?" I yelled. "Mama's getting better, and it's going to be back to just about perfect around here real soon." Then I stood still to listen, every part of me cold, wet, and dripping. After a minute, when I was just about to give up, I heard the brook reply, sadder and stiller than I'd ever heard it before. It's not over yet. And that's all it said. Chapter 11, Monday.